Welcome to Fright Bites, a mini-series from the Haunted UK podcast. Over the years, you've trusted us with your true paranormal experiences, stories that chilled us, unsettled us, and stayed with us long after the episodes ended. In Fright Bites, we bring you the very best short-form listener submissions we've ever received, hand-picked, stripped down, and told in their most terrifying form. These are short stories. Real accounts. No filler, no distractions, just a single moment where something unexplained stepped out of the shadows and into someone's life. So dim the lights, get comfortable, and brace yourself. This story was sent in by a member of a palliative care team. Because of her profession and to protect the people involved, she asked to remain anonymous. So for the purpose of this story, we'll call her Susan. All other names have also been changed. As you can imagine, working in palliative care means meeting people from all walks of life at the very end of theirs. Our role is to make that time as comfortable and as pain-free as possible. Thankfully, in my experience, most patients do pass away peacefully. But you're not just caring for the person who is dying, you're also supporting the people they're leaving behind. You form connections. You help families begin to come to terms with what's coming, whether that's weeks away, days away, or only hours. It's a strange line of work emotionally, and people deal with it in very different ways. I'd be lying if I said I'd never left a family and had a good cry to myself. Sometimes you get attached. Sometimes it's unavoidable. Over the years, I'd heard colleagues talk about unusual experiences, strange moments that happened around death, but nothing like that ever happened to me. Until I met Doris. Doris had been living with cancer for some time, but sadly, her fight was coming to an end. I won't mention any medical details as I wanted to protect her family and myself. What I can say is that she was a lovely woman with a wicked sense of humor. She was adamant she didn't want to go into a hospice. She wanted to stay at home, surrounded by her family, and that's exactly what happened. When the time came, it was calm and peaceful. Doris was asleep and comfortable. Her family were with her, and despite their heartbreak, there was warmth and humor in that house. It was clear how deeply loved she was. A few weeks after the funeral, I happened to be passing nearby and decided to drop in to see how her husband, who I'll call Alex, was coping. He answered the door, hugged me, and invited me inside. He led me into the dining room at the back of the house. Through the patio doors, I could see Doris's garden, her pride and joy, still full of color and life. Alex joked that the responsibility of gardening had now fallen to him. He'd never really enjoyed it before, but he said he still loved sitting outside in the sunshine with Doris. He asked if I wanted a drink, and I said I'd have a quick coffee before heading off. He went into the kitchen, and we continued chatting as he made our drinks. That's when I noticed movement in the garden. Something crossed my vision and disappeared behind the shed. There was also a greenhouse down there, and for a moment I wondered if someone else was visiting, or if there was someone outside who shouldn't be there. I focused on the garden, trying to see who it could be. Then Doris stepped out of the greenhouse. She looked beautiful, full of color, completely healthy. For a few seconds, I couldn't process what I was seeing. Then she turned toward the house, smiled, and waved. She walked toward the far end of the garden, where there was a small seating area surrounded by bushes, and then she was gone. She wasn't transparent. She wasn't misty or half-formed. She looked completely real. I blinked several times, but she didn't reappear. I sat there stunned, but strangely, not frightened at all. When Alex came back into the room with our drinks, he saw my face. I didn't have to say anything. He smiled at me, a warm, knowing smile. We never spoke about what I'd seen. We drank our coffee, talked quietly, and about 20 minutes later, I left. Even now, I can't say for certain whether what I witnessed was real or whether my mind filled in something it wanted or needed to see, but I've never forgotten what Alex said about the garden. He told me he still loved sitting outside with Doris. And I've never forgotten the overwhelming sense of peace that stayed with me long after I left that house. That brings us to the end of this Fright Bite. A real experience, shared by one of our listeners, and one that proves that the line between the ordinary and the unexplained is sometimes terrifyingly thin. If you've had an encounter of your own, or if something from your past still refuses to be explained, we'd love to hear it. Send your stories into contact us at hauntedukpodcast.com. Until next time, keep your lights low and your doors locked, because if you think you're alone right now, you might want to think again.